Uniforms folded, flag hangs on the wall. Traded steel and thunder for silence in the hall. The mission's over, the deployment's done, they said. But the war inside my head, it hasn't left its stain. Disappeared. The invisible wounds are the ones that are truly feared. I'm walking on a wire, the pressure's coming down. Is there anyone listening in this lonely town? Full speed ahead after battle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Full Speed Ahead After Battle, right here on Military Broadcast Radio, where we give veterans a voice. Y'all, it's freezing cold in North Texas tonight. It's been this way the last few days. We've had, they wanted to say Ice Apocalypse 2026. It wasn't that bad, but I've been shut in for 4 days. I'm not going outside. I moved to Texas to get away from this crap. I grew up in Illinois. You know, deployments in the ocean in the middle of the winter, freezing cold. Texas ain't supposed to be doing this. But for everybody that's locked in and hunkered down, good luck out there. I know it's not as bad as they said it is. Hopefully y'all are staying warm. I know there's been a lot of kids out playing on the ice. Unfortunately, in the news, I've seen some fatalities for that. So thoughts and prayers with those families and those children. But this show, what do we do every week? We put out some numbers, all right? Let's put out the numbers for the night, get that over with so we can get into some good stuff. 22 veterans, on average, commit suicide every single day. That number has fluctuated. It's gone up, gone down. Right now it's down a little bit. But when you factor in first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, regular civilians, that number climbs to around 30 suicides every single day. That means within the hour of this show, it is highly likely that one veteran will end their life. And that's why we do this show here. This is why NBR is here, to help our veterans see that there are things out there. There is a reason to keep going. There's a mission after service. My mission, my passion in life after leaving service, helping my fellow brothers and sisters in uniform. Because I don't want to see any one of them leave. And it's not just them that are affected when they take their own life. It's the families, it's the friends, it's the circles of those people that are also affected. Affects a lot of lives. So we talk about that transition after service. What do you do? How do you do it? Because that's one of the leading factors in veteran suicide, is finding that new mission after service. On the show, we also talk about veteran suicide prevention, intervention, and postvention. How to stop it, what to do during an intervention, and how to act after the suicide, whether it's accomplished or not. The steps they need to take, not just for the veterans themselves, but the family and friends after that as well. That's why we have a lot of guests on the show. Some are professionals, some are veterans, some are just people that just want to come on here and tell their story. And that's what this is about. This is a veteran show for veteran people, because sometimes it takes that punch in the mouth to knock some sense into them and get them acting right. What do we got going on this last week? Like I said, just the cold. We're working from home a couple of days. Our Fort Worth office is shut down. There's probably a good 4 or 5 inches in my backyard on my street of nothing but ice. No snow, just ice. And I ain't dealing with that. Coming up next week at my VFW 10374 here in Fort Worth, just outside of Hazlet, we have a Night of Valor It's a spaghetti dinner night, but it's not just any spaghetti dinner. We have a Medal of Honor recipient joining us. Donald Doc Ballard will be at VFW 10374 next Wednesday, 6 p.m., talking about his story. This guy went from the Navy to the Army, from enlisted to officer, from corpsman to running things. He's done it. He's seen it. He's here to talk about it. He's here to raise awareness around veteran suicide, mental health. Come out, hear his story. He's doing autographs, but not only that, he's bringing a friend with him, a very close personal friend with him. If you've ever watched Texas Flip and Move on the DIY channel, that's the show where a bunch of different people, groups of people come in, they buy these old dilapidated houses, move them, flip them, sell them. Used to have Myers Jackson on there, if y'all knew who that auctioneer is. Donna Snow of the Snow Sisters on that show will be in attendance as well. She's got a new book out, a new mystery crime-solving book based on Doc's life, on his character of him. She'll be out there autographing and selling that. So we have a Medal of Honor recipient and a TV star at RBFW next week. Come on out. $10 for a plate of spaghetti. You don't have to even buy anything to come out. Come out, support, show some support for the veterans, raise awareness. Doc is raising funds for his nonprofit where he takes funds for things that he does, takes his own money, and he pays for funeral services for indigent veterans and first responders that can't afford it. You would think, right, being a veteran, being a first responder, life insurance and all that funerals are free. They're not. They're not covered under the VA benefits. Right? There's certain things that just don't qualify. He pays out of pocket. He raises money for this kind of stuff. So come on out, see Doc. The statistic is 0.0000000, some more zeros, 1.8% chance that you will ever meet a living Medal of Honor recipient. And if you come out next week, 100% chance you'll get to meet one. So make sure you come on out, see them, and have a good time, right? After that, April 18th, I'm putting this out. I know it's a ways away. However, the Department of Texas, VFW District 21, is sponsoring or presenting a Battle Buddy Throwdown cornhole tournament. And no, for you Marines, that's not where you pick your battle buddies up and throw them on the ground and wrestle around. It's a cornhole tournament. We're raising funds again for veteran suicide and mental health. Have y'all seen the picture here? This is what I'm here for. I raise awareness, I raise funds, I do everything I do is to help our fellow brothers and our sisters. Veteran suicide awareness, mental health awareness, because there's a stigma out there that nobody wants to talk about it. We're talking about it. We're bringing it to the forefront. At that cornhole tournament, we got live music by a local band called Last Call. Right, it's a veteran band. We've also got a keynote speaker, Bruce Stacy, will be there. He is the chairman of the local Air Power Foundation. He's also a 2-time Purple Heart recipient, 2-time Bronze Star, 2-time Silver Star. He's going to be out there talking about this. So we got a lot of stuff coming up at that Battle Buddy Throwdown cornhole tournament. All funds are going to the Irreverent Warriors out of Fort Worth, so they'll be there as well, and their Silkies playing cornhole. No, it's not a hike this time. We're changing it up a little bit because I don't hike. I'd rather play cornhole. So that's what we're doing, right? Other than that, things are as normal. We got the district VFW coming up. They just had midwinter conference. That's where they gathered up down in, I believe it's Corpus Christi this year. Coming together, Texas grouping together, figuring out what we're going to do for the next year, what we're doing, pushing veteran agendas forward. How are we stopping veteran suicide, raising mental health awareness, all that good stuff. That's what the VFW's been up to. As far as me personally coming up, I don't have a whole lot on the calendar, right? I do this show every week for y'all, so make sure you tune in next week. Being busy with the VFW, and that's really about all that I've got. So without further ado, our next guest is a veteran himself, and y'all may have seen him around on his own podcast, or he's joined up on another podcast group, a couple of people I've had here a few weeks ago on the Smoking and Joking podcast. He's one of those veterans that has been there and been through it, just like many of us, struggle with PTSD, depression, anxiety. He's gone through it. He's gone through the addiction, and he's overcome that, and he's now helping other veterans out, doing that good work that we all need to be doing, helping our brothers and sisters. So this week's guest is none other than Shawn Laurie, the veteran guy. And without further ado, this is our interview of the week.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Shawn, welcome to Full Speed Ahead, brother. How you doing?
What's going on, Josh? Good to be here, man. Thank you for having me on, bro. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Your PR guy contacted me. You have a PR guy. I need one of those. I mean, you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, so
yeah,
I'm sure it is. I mean, I'm not the tech wizard like some of these guys, but it's good. But I was happy to have you on, and then I had Beth and Jimmy here not too long ago, and you hooked up with them and doing that podcast now. So you got a lot of big things going on in life, right? So. I gave a little bit of intro for you, so why don't you tell the viewers, tell everybody else, who's the veteran guy? What do you
do? Just to back up a little bit, I won't get into, we won't get into so much of the military service until we actually talk about it. But I did serve 8.5 years at the South Carolina National Guard. I went in as a 12 Bravo combat engineer, for you guys that don't know. We're the smart infantry, but and I don't really think we're smart. I mean, we're the dummies that are running over IEDs. So anyways, I did 8.5 years in the military, combat engineer, went to Afghanistan, did a couple tours in Afghanistan, got out in 2012, got injured in Afghanistan on my last tour, ended up having surgery and all kinds of other stuff. And, that's really where addiction started for me. So, like I heard you talk about earlier about, transitioning from military to civilian. That was difficult. I don't know, man. I got hooked on painkillers, bro. And it led my life for a very long time until I got to where I am today. And you asked, what do I do today is the question. You're like, well, who is the veteran guy? The veteran guy is somebody that has served in the military, that has been through the suck, has been there and done that, and came back from addiction, came back from, literally, not almost dying in combat, but dying here at home in the civilian world, and getting myself out of that victim mentality and realizing if I want change, I got to be the one to make the change happen. And writing books and doing podcasts and just being somebody better than I was before, and quit blaming everybody for my problems, and realizing that if I want to be better, it's up to me. And that's who I am now, is just somebody that, and I still go through shit, bro. I still go through stuff all the time. Like I struggle all the time, but I just really try to focus more on the positivity in life and focus on the good, and realize that, life sucks. Life can suck, but it can also be what we make of it, And so the veteran guy is somebody that just tries to inspire people, whether it's through relationships, whether it's through, military transition, if it's drug recovery, whatever it is. If I can be a voice and I can inspire you, that's who I want to be. And that's who the veteran guy is.
All right. Because I was going to ask you, there's so many veteran guys out there, right? Everybody's a veteran guy.
Everybody's a veteran guy.
What makes you the veteran guy? Yeah, but you explained it. So
I know.
So
I
to
know.
be able to know,
I just want to say real quick, like it's crazy now because there are so many veteran guys. And when it first started, man, like I've been doing social media for a long time, bro. Like this isn't new for me. Like I've been doing the Facebook thing, I feel like I was one of the first original creators of Reels. Like back in 2012, I was creating videos and dropping them on Facebook before it was popular, but I don't know, dude. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I did a lot of stuff, and I did a lot of things for veterans, and I was part of a lot of organizations, and it was funny because people started after we'll get into it, but I went viral after I got clean and sober. And people used to ask me, "Are you that veteran guy? That veteran guy, right? That veteran guy that's on, you know?" And they just kind of stuck. So I was just like, you know what,
Yeah.
y'all might as well just call me the veteran guy. So that's just
Yeah.
how that came around.
Dude, I know how that is. I work in a corporate office,
Yeah.
and people know me by that bald guy with the beard and the tattoos, right?
Hey,
They don't know my name, but whenever they need help
yeah,
with something, it's go find the guy with the beard and the tattoos. So I get
I
it.
like it. The guy with the long, cool beard. I like it, dude.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
let's get into it. To know where you are now and where you're going in the future, you got to understand the past, right? So you talked
Yeah.
about a lot of people, a lot of veterans plan to get out. You didn't plan to get out, right? Because you got injured. So I can't ask you, did you take, I guess I could, but did you take your job, your job skills and translate those into the civilian world? But I'm going to ask you, what did you take from the military when you got out that helped you thrive and overcome your injuries and things like that?
Well, to answer that, I don't think I really did, man. I mean, it's kind of like infantry, bro. Like, I feel like the only thing you could take from infantry really is, I mean, besides the discipline, right? The discipline
Yeah,
and the things that they've learned, but like, what really else did you learn besides shooting? Like,
right.
accuracy and stuff like that. Like maybe a police
Yeah.
officer or whatever, or some type of first responder. But I don't know, dude. It's like I said, man. When I got hurt in Afghanistan in 2000, like I was there in 2000, and my second tour was 10 and 11. So I got injured around towards the 11 side of it. So I
Hmm.
came home a few months early. um, and it wasn't planned. Like my
Yeah.
commander literally told me, he's like, "Bro, go to Fort Gordon, Georgia. Go to the WTU unit, get your surgery, and then we got another tour ready for you. Like this is gonna be my third tour. We're gonna go to Kosovo." Like my brain was already expecting to get surgery, get
Yeah.
out, do what I need to do, get back to work. A lot of people don't realize when you get into a medical hold situation, you're seeing therapists, you're seeing doctors, you're
Yeah.
seeing psychiatrists, and then that's when
Yeah.
all the meds start. That's when all the, "Oh, you're crazy," or "You have sleep apnea and you have freaking nightmares and you need a pill for this and a pill for that and a pill for this and a pill for that." And like that's all I would get. And it just really went on for like almost 2 years, bro.
Yeah.
And finally it just kind of came down the pipeline that they were going to discharge me, honorably discharge me. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. They were going to not only honorably discharge me, but they were going to retire me. So I got
Hmm.
retired out early. So that, I mean, obviously that was a benefit. But at that time, bro, I ain't gonna lie, I was taking so many pills and I was so drugged up and I was so high all the time that it didn't even affect me. I
Yeah.
was just like, okay, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But so when people ask me what did I take from the military at that time, dude, there wasn't nothing I could really take. Like I was a drug addict. Like I try to explain that to people. Like
Hmm.
I was a pill popping addict from 2011 all the way up to 2018. All I was doing is running the streets and burning through money and destroying my
Yeah.
marriage. Like that was my
Yeah.
life, you know. And
Yeah.
but we can get more into that. But to answer your question, bro, to get where I am today, I think a lot of it just came from discipline.
Yeah.
Falling back on that discipline, falling back on that. If I want it, go get it. And I
Hmm.
don't know, man. It was a long road, bro. But it took one of my brothers who was an 82nd Airborne Ranger. He saw what I was going through. I made a crazy post one time, and I don't know. I was at the end of my rope, bro, and I was just done. And it was 2018, and
Yeah.
I was just done. And of course, my messenger's blowing up, and everybody's wanting to contact me now, make sure I'm okay. And this one guy just kept calling me and calling me and calling me, and I knew him personally. And he got on the phone with me, and like you said earlier, you said sometimes it takes to get your ass, get somebody just kick
Hmm.
your butt just to get you.
Yeah.
And that's what he did, bro. It wasn't like everybody else was like, "Oh, you got this." It was, get your stuff together. If you want to be better, you need to do it. Get off the drugs, become better, stop whining and crying. Like he didn't care, bro. Like he gave it to me like a drill sergeant.
Right.
And that's what stuck with me, bro. And that's what hit me. And I was like, you know what? This dude is so right. And I'll get
Yeah.
into how I got clean, but that was the change for me. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I realized that nobody's going to do it for me. I got to do it for them.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was trying to get to. And somebody has a comment here that they're always infantry, no life skills, but what a lot of veterans get stuck on is this was my job in the military. It doesn't translate to the outside, but they forget about those skills of teamwork and leadership and attention to detail and all of that stuff. And so, even, and I'm sure, and like you just alluded to, when you're going through addiction, you kind of, it kicked back on that, like, dude, I can do this, just like you're going through boot camp. I can do this. I can beat this. I can make this. So that's what a lot of veterans need to realize is don't get stuck on the job. Don't get stuck on the MLS. Get stuck on all that other stuff that you learned, right? And that's what's going to carry.
I like that, bro.
Yeah,
I like that, man. I've never thought about it that way. Like, I've always thought when people ask me, like, what'd you learn? Like, I thought about it. Like, I did say discipline, but that's really it. I didn't think about the teamwork and think about the, the commitment that it took to show up for formation every morning and, getting up and, I don't know, dude, that's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, we learned a lot more than our job because,
we learned more than just shooting. We learned more than just our job. We learned more than just, like, for me, I was demolition, like combat engineers. If for y'all that don't know, our job is basically to blow stuff up. Like, that's our job.
Yeah.
And I learned more than that when you think about it. The teamwork, the discipline, the camaraderie,
Because what does every branch do? First, we go through boot camp before we even get to our school. They're breaking us down, building us up into one team, one fight, and that's before we even learn that job. So they're building all those skills beforehand. So it took me a long time to remember that before somebody pointed it out. I think my dad did. He's like, "No, man." You did training,
you learn more than just your job.
Right, exactly. So let's talk about one of my big things is I'm not a fan of the VA, right? They're doing better. I get it. Now that they're allowing you to go to a third party for your CMP exams, things like that, they're getting better. You got out back when it was crap. Right, because 2011, 2012, that's when I got out, started going to the VA. I hated it. I quit going for years. So what was your experience like going through the VA for your transition or your medical needs or things like that? And, how do you see it now?
Well, the one thing I'll say that was good was that I was already in a medical unit. So they did everything for me. So I was kind of spoiled on that end. Like, I feel bad when I see all these veterans and they're going through all this long struggle trying to get in because I had the military do it for me because I was in a unit that was, doing that for us. But what really hurt me, man, is that for a year and a half at Fort Gordon, I was already a drug addict. Like, I was already taking painkillers every single day. And when and let me just tell y'all, like, I wasn't just doing painkillers. I was on benzos, which is Xanax and Klonopins and those kind of things. So what I'm saying is when I finally retired and I went back home and I went to the VA appointment, my very first VA appointment, it was to meet my primary physician. She's looking at my chart and she's like, Jesus Christ, you're on a lot of medicine. I think I was on like 16 different pills at the time, all the way from lithium to a sleeping pill, to an eating pill, I mean, just every pill, every symptom, every pill. And she noticed, oh my God, dude, you've been taking these freaking Percocets since 2011. Oh my God, you've been taking Xanax since 2011. How are you even walking right now? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I just do.
It's working.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. And she cut me off, bro. She cut me off of my pain medicine because she realized that I was obviously been taking it too long. I tried to explain to her, like, look, without trying to sound like an addict, look, I've been taking these for a very long time. I don't think it's a good idea just to cut me off. But she did. And so that's kind of what started the journey of me buying drugs in the streets and starting to go towards the streets because the VA cut me off my medication. But It was weird, bro. I went there trying to get help, trying to figure out what was going on. And it was always like months and months and months before I get an appointment. Like, you're going to see a psychiatrist. Okay, cool. That'll be July 27th. And here it is, January. Like, holy crap. Like, and then when you go see it, it's the same story. Here's a pill. Here's a pill.
Mhm.
What pill are you taking? So in my experience, bro, it's been take this pill, you'll be all right. Take this pill,
Yeah.
you'll be all right. Now I will
Yeah.
say the VA today versus then has gotten a lot better. I mean, they still push the
Yeah.
medication, but they are actually
Yeah.
looking at different revenues as far as like, hey, is there any organization out there you can talk to? Or hey, we do have an addiction counseling group that you can get involved
Right.
in, stuff like
Right.
that. So
Yeah. I got you. So going through your addiction and all of that, I'm sure your mental state was not good at all, right? And like many veterans, I'm sure you probably had thoughts, and you even put it out there that you have some of those suicidal thoughts, right? And so let's talk about that. Like, when did you realize that those thoughts were creeping in? Because a lot of veterans don't realize it. They think, oh man, it's just another day, another thought, right? Not
yeah.
no big deal. But what about it hit close to home for you? Like, dude, this isn't right. I got to do something about it.
You mean like as far as wanting to like unalive myself?
Yeah, yeah,
Man, that's a tough question. I mean, it
yeah.
really what it is man is that I mean, there was multiple times I felt that way. I think for me is I've always wanted to
Hmm.
be a good dad. I've always wanted to be a good husband. I've
Hmm.
always wanted to be that type person. I love my children to death.
Yeah,
My kids are my world. And
yeah,
my kids saved me. My kids are the reason why I'm here today. I had I was married twice. My first marriage, even the children I had from then, like I was a young guy that was in trouble all the time with the law. Like if I wouldn't have had those
right.
kids, man, I wouldn't be who I am today. So my kids have always
Yeah.
been there to save me.
Hmm.
Because I always wanted to be a good dad. And I think
Yeah,
I've done a pretty damn good job, but it's just I don't know, bro. The addiction made me feel bad. I'll tell you the story, and I'll make it very brief.
yeah.
I was very sick, man. I was it's going into my being recovery. So for
Hmm.
8 years, I'm just struggling with addiction, bro. Like every day out in the streets, spending thousands of
Yeah,
dollars, selling drugs to make money, like just living a life like a crazy person. And the only reason why I'm not homeless at this point is because I'm married and I have kids. So I do have a house. Like I'm
yeah,
trying to be like dad during the day and like crazy person at night. Like it's just weird. Like I'm living two lifestyles at this point. Um, but anyways, I was very sick. I had no money, I was at my lowest of the lows. And this is the same time I did that whole calling thing. But
yeah,
a buddy of mine reached out to me like they always do. You're at your very lowest, like, hey man, I got you. Well, I go over there to check them out, and it's embarrassing to say this. This is like part of the embarrassing part of the story, but I've learned that it is whatever it is. Like you know what, everybody's got a story.
yeah,
Um, and I've never done meth. It wasn't never nothing I cared about doing. I was always an opiate addict, from from being injured, and anyways, the guy had meth, I guess what he called it ice, whatever it was. And
yeah,
he's like, hey, bro, if you snort this line, it'll make you feel better. And I was like,
yeah,
bro, I don't know about that, dude. I'm an opiate addict. I need opioids. Like, hell, I'll take heroin at this point. Like, give me something, that's gonna make me feel better.
yeah,
I don't know. He talked me into it, man. I snorted that one time. That's it. Just that one time I snorted that line. And it didn't do nothing for me, but put me like in a crazy depression, bro. It was scary. It was so
yeah,
scary that I jumped in my car, still sick, obviously, going home, and all I did was just literally began to cry. And I was just thinking
yeah,
about, oh my God, bro, like I'm at a level now where I'm snorting meth. Like I was just dogging myself all the way home, crying, feeling
yeah,
sorry for myself, felt like I was a piece of junk. Like here I am, supposed to be some type of veteran, supposed to be somebody, supposed to be somebody amazing. And here,
yeah,
I don't know, a million thoughts going through my head, bro. And that was the day that was a scary moment because I really was convinced that I was going to end my life. And my best
yeah.
friend ended his life in 2016 by hanging himself. His 13-year-old daughter
Mhm.
found him. And I was going to do the same thing. I was going to go in the backyard and I was going to hang myself in our backyard tree. And my whole theory of that was I won't make a mess. She can just cut me out and put me in a box. Cut me down and put me in a box, no mess. Just you know. And it was because I felt like a failure as a father. I felt like a failure as a husband. I felt like a failure to my friends, to my veterans. I felt like just somebody that just, I don't know, man. It was just the power over me was so strong that I just really felt like I'd be better off dead. And that's when I made that post, and that's when my friend called, and that's when all that, you know, went into getting better. So that was probably the strongest moment of my life that I've ever felt like really giving up.
Yeah, man, that's, you know, it makes it tough when somebody so close to you does that, right? Because I went through something similar a couple of years ago. You know, growing up, I used to spend summers on the farm with my cousins, my aunt and uncle. And 2 years ago, right after Thanksgiving, my uncle, who I thought was a very strong, religious dude, he was the guy that knew everything, did everything, everybody could count on, right?
Oh yeah.
He took a gun to his chest and ended it, and his son found him. Right, his son served, his brother served, my dad, his brother served, and you know, now it makes you think like, okay, if he's not strong enough to do it, why am I? Like, okay, I got no shot in this, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do that too. I didn't do that, but you know, the thoughts run through your head when you see people do that, and so. What I like to try to tell the people is like, it happens, right? It's not supposed to happen, but it doesn't mean there's no hope left for you, right? You fought next to guys and women and things in battle. There's still people right there fighting alongside with you. You just got to reach out and ask that help. That's the problem when it comes to the veteran suicide and mental health talk is people don't want to reach out and ask because there's that stigma that, dude, they're going to think I'm worthless or I'm no good, but they've got.
I'm just complaining. Nobody wants to hear. Nobody wants to hear me
right.
complain. Nobody wants to hear me bitch and moan. Nobody wants to hear.
But
you know,
I'd rather hear you bitch and complain all day long than not hear from you at all anymore. Right.
Right. I agree.
People,
I agree.
You got to get over it. I don't want to say you got to get over it, but you got to ask for help.
Got to
quit thinking you're worthless. Ask for help. So, you know, that's going to lead us into the next chart when we're going to start talking about how you overcame that, what brought you out of it, and how it happened. But first, we're going to take a couple quick minutes. We're going to have a quick video, and we'll be right back to turn around on the flip side of that.
Hold on, things are dizzy, spinning rapidly. To miss another beat is such a tragedy. Now this moment feels like all eternity. It should feel so comfortable. There's no need to scream and shout when everything seems crazy. Reflection now. A peace of mind should not include deception's help. It should feel so comfortable. It's all in the secrets of the open hearts. Honestly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Full Speed Ahead After Battle. That was the band Die Tired. If you haven't heard of them, go check them out. Go to the NBR website. We are doing a collaboration with that band, raising funds and awareness for veteran suicide and mental health. Grab the T-shirt. It's a brand T-shirt from NBR and Die Tired. All proceeds are raised to help veterans. Right. We're here with Shawn, the veteran guy, recovery coach, all around. Badass veteran, right? As we just found out. So before we left off, we were talking about the addiction and the suicidal thoughts and things like that. How did you transform from that just a veteran guy into the veteran guy that is now being successful helping people?
I have a one answer for that, but I'm going to save that for later. So if I don't say that, just remind you, be like, oh, by the way, that one
Got
answer
it.
you were going to tell me. All right.
That one answer.
That one answer, because it's very, very simple. When people hear it, they're going to be like, oh. But in the long stream of things, it really boiled down to that guy that, my brother that reached out to me and gave me that third degree. Like, bro, get your head out your ass.
Yep.
And that's really what it was. And then after that happened, I actually went to my wife at the time, who we've been married at the time, 18 years, who stuck through me through a bunch of stuff. um, I did go to her and I was like, hey, okay, let me back up a little bit. So after that phone call, I realized I needed to make change, right? I started thinking about it and I was like, man, this is crazy. Like I need to change my life. I need to do better. I need to do this. And I know we don't get religious, but I will say for me, my God, I prayed about it, and I prayed and I went to bed that night sick, still sick, by the way. It's like day four that I haven't had no opioids. So I'm really, really sick at this point.
Yeah.
And I pray to God, and my prayer is different. My prayer is not to get me off of the drugs. My prayer, believe it or not, is I prayed that I would wake up tomorrow still having the same thoughts that I have now. Like, I want to get clean. Please don't let me wake up and have an opportunity to get high. Like, keep me where I'm at. Like, I need this. And so I went to bed on and off. I was up all night on and off, bathrooms, all that type stuff. Anyways, 7 o'clock in the morning comes around. I remember walking in the living room and I talked to my wife at the time and I said, hey, I need to talk to you. And she's like, what? And I was like, I don't know if you know this, which like she doesn't know. I'm like, I don't know if you know this. I'm still been doing pills. I've still been doing all the same stuff. And we never talked about it, but I went to rehab in the past. It was around 2015. I got an ultimatum and I was clean for like 30 days and that kind of fell apart. But so from like 2015 to 2018, I was kind of lying about it. You know what I mean? I was kind of trying to hide it. And I told her, I was like, look, I've been doing the pills. I've still been living life the same, but I want to get clean. Like, I want to do this. Like, I'm ready to do this. And I explained that to her and I begged her to help me find a place. So she got on the phone, bro, and we called around. And at the time, and people don't understand, even in 2018, we didn't even know that the VA was helping veterans that were suffering from addiction. I didn't have no clue. So I got on the phone and we started calling around treatment centers and they're like, hey, we found one place that was like, I didn't have insurance. And they were like, it's going to cost you $600 to come to this facility, but we'll get you clean. Bro, it just so happened that's all we had in our savings account was $600.
Yeah.
And so we used every dime we had. I went to an inpatient detox center for 10 days. We found an inpatient detox center for 10 days. I did detox for 10 days, got out. And the moment I got out, I went up to the front desk and we were talking and they're like, okay, well, we have another program. It's called inpatient. It's called outpatient. It's called intensive outpatient treatment center. And we do therapy for 4 days a week at 3 hours a day. Do you want to get involved? I was like, heck yeah, sign me up. So I did that, bro, for like another 7 months. Every single day I would go to therapy and I would go to these treatments and I would do it every day. And I remember 7 months, it was about the 7 month point, and I finally got my little chip and I was happy and I did it all. And I remember jumping on Facebook and I was like, hey y'all, my name is Shawn Laurie. And if you don't know who I am, I'm a veteran and I've been suffering with addiction for 8 years. Well, I am 7 months clean and sober. And if I can do it, you can do it. And I went viral on Facebook, like at the time viral, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, 400,000, whatever. But it took
Yeah.
off. And
Yeah.
and that's what kind of pushed me into creating a group. You know, I created a group of veterans, and I knew right then and there, bro, like all the outpouring. I couldn't believe how many veterans were suffering. I couldn't believe how many spouses were suffering, how many people were suffering, to see all my battle buddies and all my bros and sisters that served, that were suffering with addiction, suffering with alcohol, suffering with depression, suffering with suicidal thoughts. Like, it was unbelievable. So I wanted to create something and be a voice and be like, hey man, I'm nobody special. I'm just somebody that was able to get out of it, and I can maybe help you get out of it. And that's it, man. Like, it was crazy, dude. Life went by pretty fast, dude. From
Yeah.
2018, getting clean and sober, I went and from then I went on speaking on 14 different stages. I
Wow.
ended up hosting 13 events. I wrote 2 books. I did 62 different podcast episodes of my own episode that hit top 20 in the Apple podcast top 20. Like, I'm not bragging. I'm saying this is
Right.
because I was so determined to be better, and I wanted to be a better person. And getting to that question I wanted you to ask me is, how did you do it and why? I wanted it. That's the simple answer.
Yeah.
I
That's
wanted
it.
it.
That's it. That's what they always say is you can't take somebody to recovery unless they want it, right? And so that's the exact answer, because you want it. Every veteran should want it. Every veteran wanted to succeed at boot camp. Every veteran wanted to succeed
Mhm.
at A school or MOS or whatever they did. That's what veterans do. We succeed and we kick ass at everything that we do, and we can do it now. When it comes to addiction, comes to mental health, suicide, we can do it. We can overcome it. Just
That's a great
do
point,
it.
bro. A lot of us in
Just do
basic
it.
training, dude, a lot of us don't remember, man. But when we were going through boot camp, I don't care who you were,
Mhm.
Marines, Air, whatever. I don't care how easy you thought it was or how hard it was. It
Mhm.
was a challenge at some point.
Yeah.
And the fact that you sat there, and at some point we all thought about quitting.
Yeah.
At some point we all
Yep.
regretted us being there. At some point we were like, you know what, maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah.
And but what kept us all there, and what the ones that made it, the reason we made it is why? Because we wanted it. We wanted it more than we wanted regular life. And we were willing to do what it took to get there. And I always tell people with addiction, as hard as it is sometimes to get the drugs and deal with the dope man and all that crap that comes with it,
Mhm.
you got to want to be clean just as hard.
Yeah.
You got to want to be clean and a better person just as much as you would to want to be an addict, I guess, per se. You know, like, you
Yeah.
got to want it just as bad, or if not worse, not if
Yeah.
not more.
Exactly. I mean, we're the same person now that we were in boot camp going through that. We just have more life skills, we got more knowledge. We got other tools in our tool belt that we can use to get us through these things. So you made it through boot camp, you made it through everything. You're gonna make it through life. It just
That's
you
right.
gotta keep moving forward, and that's all it is. So let's talk about these books, man, because you wrote these back before there was AI writing books, before computers were writing everything. You wrote these yourself.
Yep.
So what brought these around? Why these kind of books? I mean,
Can I just throw out there, bro? I even today I wouldn't use AI for a book. I would not use AI for a book.
I know it's
I think it's so ungenuine. It makes me
yeah,
sick to
yep,
know that there's so many books and so much stuff being written through AI that is so I'm trying to say the word. I'm
yeah.
not very good with words. What is it? What am I trying to say? Unempathetic. What am I trying to say? I
You're
don't know.
talking to a guy with 2 head injuries. I can't remember half the stuff I say.
Yeah.
So
Anyways, I just feel like it's just not the real deal. But anyways, yeah,
yeah,
dude, I wrote 2 books. So after I got clean and sober, um, I think it was maybe 2 years, 2021. So like I said, I spoke on like 14 different stages. I went to Washington, D.C. The biggest crowd I spoke in front of was D.C., and it was like 800 people. and it was insane, bro. It was insane. I couldn't even believe I did it. Like, I have such bad anxiety that I always freak
Yeah.
out, and I always beat myself up before. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? But
Yeah.
then I do it, and then it feels great to see people go,
Yeah.
we're with you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I was sitting there one day, and my biggest thing was I was looking at all these veterans that were taking their lives. You talked about earlier the big 22 number, and that's true. We
Yeah.
do use the number 22 for an
Mhm.
average, right? For an average.
Right.
On an average, we're losing 22 veterans a day. I feel like I've heard different stories, some 22,
Yeah.
30, 45. Nobody really
Yeah.
knows. Nobody really knows.
Right. Right.
Um, one is too many. We know that. And
Yeah.
so anyways, I was thinking about a solution. Like, we're always talking about how can we help veterans? What's the problem? What's the cause? What can we, I was thinking, I was thinking of a solution. And I get not every veteran is good at reading, and I know it's not about reading, but I wanted to create something where a veteran could read a book and kind of in a very high school, very, very, very simple, kind
Yeah.
of read a book and go, wow, somebody gets it, and it was
Okay.
about mindset. It was about how to change your mindset to a veteran. It's called Veteran Mindset 2.0. So we
Yeah.
all of us vets, and here's the crazy part. I'm going to tell you this too. I know I'm all over the place, but we got so the crazy part is, when I wrote this book, bro, I was writing it from two perspectives. One, as a veteran, but I was also writing it as a civilian. And so I always tell people my book isn't just for veterans, even though it is written for Veteran Mindset 2.0. I want my veterans to look at it and go, okay, how do I upgrade as a veteran mindset? A basic veteran mindset is what? Life sucks. We got out of the military. We have no inspiration. We have no purpose. But once you get to a 2.0 mindset, that's when you're like, you know what? I control my destiny. I know what I need to do to
Yeah.
get to the next level. And so I basically just talk about how to upgrade that mindset, how to get over diversity, how to get over struggle, how to, just focus on what needs to be done to get to the next level. And I just put so much in that book, bro. I put so much work in that book. I know God was with me the entire time. I'm a very big believer. And I feel like, to give you an example, chapter 4, which is self-worth, I is my favorite chapter of that book, and I tell this story all the time that I literally struggled on that chapter, but it was the hardest chapter, but it was my favorite chapter, favorite topic. And one night, as I was working on the last part of it, I ended up deleting the whole thing, dude. I ended up deleting the entire chapter 4. I was so
Wow.
mad. I was ready to give up, dude. It took me over a
Yeah.
year to write that book. I was going through a crazy marriage. I was getting screamed at all the time. I was struggling with all kinds of other stuff, and at the same time trying to write a mental health book, trying to write a self-motivating book. So I was
Yeah.
like ready to just give up. And then one of my brothers named Cody, he reached out to me. He's like, he kept bugging me, like every week he'd reach out to me. He's like, Shawn, he's like, how far are you with the book? How far are you with the book? Like, he knew what he was doing. He was
Right.
driving me to. And I told him what happened. I was like, bro, I done screwed up chapter 4. I done deleted the whole thing. Like, I'm not even. He's like, rewrite it. I'm like, I can't, bro. He's like, rewrite it. He's like, dude, just
Yeah.
rewrite it. And so I did, man, and it ended up being 100 times better than it was. Anyways, it ended up being a 5-chapter book. I personally think it's an incredible book. A lot of my friends do. We've had over 1,000, well, excuse me, not 1,000. We've sold over thousands of books, but we've had
Yeah.
over 100 or so reviews, and they're absolutely amazing. They're
Nice.
all on Amazon. You guys can read it.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the beginning of writing, bro. And it was before AI. It was me, computer, and typing, and just putting out my own thoughts and putting out what I
Yeah.
wanted to say, and doing it into a book format. But it was
Yeah.
just, I couldn't believe I did it. This guy who dropped out in 10th grade, and but I did it.
You never know what comes out of veterans' minds. I'd be scared to put my thoughts into paper and people read it.
Exactly.
So, man, that's awesome that you're putting things into words for people
Yes.
to understand. And I know for me that sometimes that's the easier stuff to read when you can understand it. Somebody that's been there and done that, and you're
Yeah.
not having to reread a paragraph. What the hell are they talking about here?
A lot of people say that even when I
Yeah.
text you, like if I text you, and even the same way that I write the way I talk.
Yeah.
You know, I came up in a very diverse community. I came up, you know, all over the place. I'm a military brat myself. My dad did 22 years in the military, so I've been everywhere. I've lived most of my life in the South, so I got a little bit of Southern, whatever. But
I'm with you. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. A lot of people say I talk the way I write the way I talk, and so when you read my
Okay.
book, you actually can. I'm not writing it to be proper. I'm writing the way I'm
Yeah.
speaking to you. So I
Yeah.
think that's where a lot of
And
people.
that's what's relatable though. You know, that's why veterans have a hard time when talking with, you know, therapists and psychotherapists and all that,
Yeah,
because they're all about reading out of the book and giving the
exactly.
psychosomatic details. And it's like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Right?
Exactly.
What are you
We don't do
what are you
PowerPoints,
asking
bro.
me? So, you know, for somebody to come at you with the verbiage that you hear from the military, from, you know, your next door neighbor, that's what we relate to, and that's what works for us. That's why you and I do what we do, is because we can relate to those veterans and help them out. That's why we're doing this, right?
Right, bro.
So let me ask you a question. I think I know you hit on it, and for me, I wouldn't say I call it what you want. I quit drinking, or at least I slowed down a lot several months ago.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, my wife was away on a business trip, and I just had one of those breakdown nights where I hit way too much whiskey, and I'm like, yeah, I can't do it no more. Right? I ain't gonna make it out of this. So for me, my wife is my support system, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. So going through your addiction, your recovery, and everything, what is that one thing that a person needs to make it through, whether it's a support system or God or whatever it is? What do you think that one thing is that people need to hold on to make it through?
Well, I'm a very honest person, and one of the
Yeah.
things I will say here live, even on your podcast, is that I am almost 8 years in recovery. I have not slid back once. I have almost cut my fingers off. I had mouth surgery literally 3 days ago. They offered me painkillers. I
Oh,
turned them down.
yeah.
Like, I will never do another pill again. I
Yeah.
am almost 8 years completely clean.
Yeah.
I did go 7 years without drinking. I had a few months ago started drinking again a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's just being honest, you know. And
Yeah.
I'll be real, and the alcohol has never really been an issue with me. Like, that wasn't the thing. Like, I think you've seen a lot of veterans talk about recovery, and they kind of intertwine it together. You know, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I quit drinking, I quit doing this. I quit drinking because I felt like it was something that I needed to do to keep me off of the drugs, off of the opioids. But
Yeah.
and I'm not validating it by no means. I'm just saying, like, I'm not a perfect person. And so yeah, I've drank a little bit here and there. But as
Yeah.
far as the opioids go, I have been clean for almost 8 years.
That's
So
awesome.
I wanted to put that out there, because I'm not, I'm a very honest
Yeah.
person, you know, and
Yeah.
and I want other veterans to see that it's okay to have a beer. It's okay to have,
Yeah.
a shot of whiskey. It doesn't mean you're an addict. you know.
Right.
It's just all about how you control it and what it does for you.
Yeah.
And so following up that with what you asked me, what's it take? Honestly, bro, I'm gonna be real, like, go all the way back and
Yeah.
say, number one, it's gonna have to take willpower. You gotta want it.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to quit smoking them damn cigarettes, you're not gonna quit. If you don't want to
Yeah.
quit that damn weed, it's not gonna quit. If you don't want to quit that alcohol, you're not gonna quit. Like, if you don't really want to quit, you can't do it for other people, bro. You can't do it for your mom and your dad and your brother and your sister and your cousin. You got to do it for you.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's my honest point. Now, is it easier having a support system? Hell yeah. Because then you got people that will hold you accountable. You got people that would go, "Hey man, you're drinking tonight," or "Hey man, you're obviously high on something tonight." So I would recommend having a good support system. Obviously, going
Yeah.
to some type of maybe AA or NA meeting, go around other addicts, around other people that are struggling, so that way you don't feel alone. But at the end of the day, if you want it, you can do it. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no excuse. I will never take an excuse for anybody to tell me you can't do it, because if I can do it, you can
That's
do it.
right.
Man, here can do it, you can do it. So,
That's right.
you got to want.
Just like in boot camp, you don't get any excuses from the drill instructors, right? You either do it or you're out. So it's the same thing. So look, we're coming up into the hour of the show. You've given out so much great information already.
Thanks,
like
man.
It's way out there, and you've got so many followers. Like everybody's sitting here chatting
Great
up
work.
the comments, and they're like, "Dude's amazing! Like he's a living legend." So,
Nah, bro, I'm
But-
just a normal person like you.
hey, that's all it is, right? So I run all of my guests through the 2-minute drill. I know the Super Bowl's coming up, and neither of my teams are in it, but whatever.
Mine either.
I guess I got to go for the Patriots. I mean,
Oh no!
I mean,
Who's the
I
other
hate
team?
the Seahawks. I hate the Seahawks. Anyways, 2-minute drill. Whatever is in your heart and your mind that you want to put out into the universe, that you want to instill onto people, maybe something you've already said or something new you want to say, but put your feelings out there. 2 minutes, floor is yours.
So, what I would say, if anybody's watching this and you're struggling with addiction, if you're suffering with your life, if you feel like you're not worth it, if you feel like you just want to give up, if you feel like there's no hope, that's just evil talking to you, man. That's the demons talking to you. That's just not true. Like, you matter, and you got to realize your life matters, and you need to understand that no matter what mistakes or whatever wrong decisions that we make in this world, it doesn't define who you are, right? And whatever diagnosis you have doesn't define you, right? And so I just feel like we're all amazing human beings, and we all do make mistakes, and we all do mess up sometimes, but each and every one of us deserve, I feel like, chances. God gives us chances. I believe, as human beings, we should give each other chances. We should give ourselves a chance. We're not going to always be perfect, and I'm not going to always be perfect, and you're not always going to be perfect. So don't beat yourself up all the time. That's my advice tonight, is don't beat yourself up all the time. We all make mistakes. We all do things that we're not proud of. We do things that we wish we can change sometimes. But you know what? At the end of the day, we're all human, and we all make mistakes. And little mistakes or big mistakes, we all mess up. So don't beat yourself up for it. Know that you matter. And if you are struggling with any type of addiction, you can get through it. You just got to really, really want it. And if you're going to tell me tonight that you can't do it, it's because you don't want it. And I will always tell you that to your face. If you want it, you'll make it happen. For those people that are suffering with their life and they feel like they're not worth it, please reach out to me. Reach out to my friend here, Josh. You do matter, and please do not give up. And all I want to say is that every veteran that served our country, we are very grateful for you. You are always our brothers and sisters. And for all of those that support us, we are very grateful for you as well. Like I said, there's nothing special about me. I'm just somebody that has passion and wants to see other people do good. And so that's really all I got to say. Just
Shawn, I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate,
sir.
man, the strong message, the deep passion that you're putting out there into the world for our veterans, trying to help them out, whether it's podcasting, books, or, one-on-one, everything you're doing. Keep it up, because, like I said, that 22 number's changing, but it's never going to go down unless we all put in the work. So keep it up. Thank you so much for what you do, and you are welcome back on the show anytime, man.
Heck yeah, dude. I had a blast. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good night, Shawn.
All right, man. Later, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is bringing us to the end of this week's episode of Full Speed Ahead After Battle. That was Shawn Laurie, the veteran guy. You heard his message. Nothing's going to happen unless you want it to happen, whether it's addiction or getting into recovery or getting over that hump, getting that job. It's all about you and what you want. Make that decision to take what you learned in boot camp, in the service, and apply it to your life, apply it to your future. It's the same thing that you went through back then. It's just a different mission now. You can conquer what's in front of you. Keep moving forward. Get that support system. Make that mental note that you're going to make this happen, and you're going to do it, right? Shawn, obviously there was a lot of people backing Shawn tonight. Shawn is an amazing person. He's been doing this for a long time. I've seen him for many years doing what he does, and he's a great addition for the show. Next week, we have Richard Rosner coming on. He is a life coach. He's a speaker, a mentor. He's going to be chatting with us about several different topics as well. So again, hang in there. Same message as always, because it never changes. You're not in this fight alone. Just like when you're in boot camp, just like you're in battle, you got people to the left and the right of you, right? You still have those people. Their faces have changed. The missions changed. The passions changed. Just remember, though, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out. It's okay to talk about that mental health, because that's what's important to you. That's what's going to keep you going forward. You got to make that change, people. So keep it up. I'll see you next week on Full Speed Ahead After Battle right here on Military Broadcast Radio. That's it. Stay warm out there, Texas. Dismissed.
Life is like a duck. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Here at Military Broadcast Radio, we're teaming up with our friends at Die Tired, the veteran-friendly music band spreading strength, resilience, and mental health awareness, one shirt at a time.
And check this out. Their brand new shirts feature broadcast beaker right on the breast pocket. A reminder that you can weather the storm, and you're never alone.
Shirts are only $25, and proceeds support giving veterans a voice. MBR's mission to teach veterans how to podcast and videocast. Because when our vets are talking, they're not overthinking. They're not second-guessing. Together, we stop the 22 stigma. Grab your shirt today at mbradio.us and hit the shop. Or go directly to toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband. That's toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband.
Suit up, stand strong.
Remember, we're unduckable together.
You're built tougher than the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.